All right, let's see how this goes. MP's massive cash flow system, how to use an honest and compelling reason why to raise your fees without creating a mutiny and enjoy a huge cash injection, plus the secret game-changing benefit no one else will tell you about. I'm Dave Fannin. I own the Body Firm Personal Training Fitness Boot Camps. I've been in business for 5 years with the first location, about 2 years with the second location. We do old school 101, small group, fitness boot camps, nutrition support. I specialize in rapid fat loss. 80% of my market come to me and they're their heaviest weight ever. They're either 160, 260, 360, even 460. So I just do a lot of weight loss. And that's what we do. That's our specialty. Okay, let me tell you about the history, my history with the Raising the Rates campaign. You heard about it last night. And you may be in a similar situation where you may have a need to raise the rates, and you may have similar concerns or needs. I had never raised my rates before. I still had rates from the early 2000s. I was charging about $50 per session for 101, about 30 for small group. So if you've never raised them and you've been in the business for at least 3 to 5 years, it might be time. Clients were getting insanely good results. 100% money back guarantee, that's what I give. And the added value, because since I've been with NPE, I added in information products, email support, phone support, just basically modeling off them what they do with us, I was doing for the client. So adding value, increasing results, but it was at the same price. And then 100% close rate from September, October, November, and December in 2009, I had closed everyone that I had sat down in front of. And like Dick Chilton will tell you, if at least 20% or 2 out of 10 don't object to the price being too high, your prices might be too low. Okay? You want to have some resistance to your pricing. You need to be pushing that envelope, getting the most return for your money. And then I had to raise these things. Because even though marketing was good, I was slowly running out of money because trying to run this second location up as fast as possible, we had bought it in August of 2008 and then everything, so we were running out of cash. And I was like about $1,000, maybe $500 each month, but as you know, most businesses don't go out of business on a catastrophe, they bleed to death, like 1,000 cuts. And you're dead. So you know what it's like. So I was running out of money, and as you know, I needed money because we didn't know how the treatment or how long I would be out. So the diagnosis and the treatment required that I get some cash. 3 letters and 30 days later. In January of 2010, I did around 40 grand. In February, I did about 38, and that's not how you want to see your numbers going, in the new year. But thankfully, we started launching this. January, we started putting it together. February, it started hitting the mailboxes, and the deadline was March 17th. So March, we did 69 grand, 42.9. So I went from 3,000 in reserves to 30,000 in reserves, and that's a nice little buffer. That $27,000 made a difference. And it just kept getting better because we were just doing pretty well. And that's significantly more than the year before. So we're going positive. But the secret bonus that I didn't realize till about a month or 2 later was that we became profitable, because that $1,000 or $2,000 that I was under every month, we were bringing in an extra $3,400 now doing the exact same things. So we had went from going under to immediately going profitable. Okay, and we stay that way. And that was just with 69 clients. We doubled those numbers over the next 2 months. So let me tell you, because what I'm going to ask you to do is to raise your rates, and that's a very scary thing. So I want you to see the history of this campaign and see how powerful it is. This was written as a single-page letter by Eric Ruth in 2003 for Forrest Walden. In 2003, he wrote just under $100,000 in cash in 30 days in Alabama. Okay? That was from a single letter. And you're going to see a lot of faces you recognize, so you know this is a real deal. Pete Perina made some adjustments to the letter. He did 176 letters at a cost of $170 in less than 60 days. $186,000 was it deposited in his bank account. That's pretty good for a personal trainer. And then to reinforce, you have Camelia Herndon, who did this campaign just under $100,000 in a Fitness Together studio in 30 days, and it just gets better. Dirk Hansen, this is for you guys, kind of like me, old school. You've been around for a while. This is probably one of the best stories. He was FFP, or Australian Member of the Year, last year. After 20 years running a studio, he was still just moving money around, struggling, lived 5 minutes from the beach, hadn't been there in 5 years. If you've heard this story, he was barely able to keep the lights on. He ran this campaign, and 30 days later, he had $250,000 in his bank account. So you may be sitting on a gold mine, and you don't know it. So do take a chance. And then Tony Maslin, who just his first $100,000 mark in 5,000 square feet. So he may have had one of the most profitable studios in the country that month. So you see the power of this campaign. So let's get into the mechanics of it. Raising the Rates campaign overview. 45-day campaign written by the master Eric Ruth. First letter goes out day 1. 15 days later, if they have not responded, you send out the second letter. And then letter 3 on day 30. So you have about 40. Or you can, if you're in a need, compress this into 30 days. It can be done. And your deadline is usually set out 45 days. That'll give you a good month and a half, to run this thing. When's the best time to run it? I say February, March for us, but like Pete ran this in August. So, you may vary. And how much should you increase it? I increased my one-on-one by $10 and $15, and then I increased my small group by $5 per session. But that adds up. You're looking at compounding this thing. So you have to make your own decisions on that. And a little bit more overview. All 3 letters require that you attach a rate sheet. That way they're not calling, you're not having to return calls, let them know where it's at, let them know the numbers. And testimonial sheets, as Sean says, remind them the reason why they're with you. And so there are no surprises. You will include a copy of the with the first letter and letter 3. And if somebody does give you $5,000 or $10,000, send them something nice, like a bag or a water bottle or the whole thing. So, show them some appreciation. And then it will really reinforce the behavior you want. But what they're showing you that they trust you. Let's look at the letter itself, and there's 3 steps, but the basics remain the same. I was afraid of that. It's very soft. These are the most important people we have, our clients. You don't want to create a mutiny, and it's not going to happen. Everything that you're afraid of will happen. Most of it won't, and those things that do, you'll be able to handle it. The Body Firm Personal Training has been open in Dallas-Fort Worth for over 4 years. And then we're committed to providing the finest and cutting-edge results-oriented personal training in DFW. A huge part of that mission involves hiring and retaining. This is our reason. We want to continue to provide and service you. However, to reward your faithful, we're about to do a small rate increase, implementing a small rate increase. We've already increased the rate per session for people coming in. We're about to raise it now. We're extending to you the opportunity to invest in as many sessions as you want at the old rates. There is no limit to the number of training months or sessions that you can pre-purchase and lock in at your old rates. This is where you get your cash. They buy a month and they pay in full. They buy a year and they pay in full. To thank you for your trust in us, you may add any number of training months, minimum of 2, to your current program at your current rate. Your phone will ring. It may not ring on the first letter, because not everybody goes to the mail, but it'll ring on the second. And again, let me show you, you'll want to include a simple rate increase sheet. Let them know the numbers. Also let them know that you charge a lot more for other things. And then remind them of why they're there. Okay? In the second letter, again, very soft, 2 weeks ago, I sent you a letter explaining this. Our commitment here at the Body Firm is to the principle, to the Japanese principle called Kaizen, constant, steady improvement. Where have you heard that before? And we're providing this, we're putting it in front of you. And again, we reinforce, however, to reward your faithful patronage, you can buy as many sessions as you want at the old rate. Then in the third letter, which is why you'll have to include the first letter, it simply says, hey, we sent you this out, this is a deadline, and you have a copy stamped on the third letter. Some people never respond, they just keep trucking, but your rates go up because you've let them know. You don't have to call them and say, hey, we're about, this is 3 letters, they should be opening their mail, okay? So that's the overview. All kinds of good things. I want to give you some speed tips because sometimes you're in a hurry to get this out. It's very simple. You'll want to pull the letter, read it through, personalize it. Print the book. It's a massive surge campaign. It's in all the VIP. You can download it. It's about that thick. And then watch the video. They compressed all this, the guy that wrote it compressed all this into 12 minutes. So, it's a pretty fast video. You might want to watch it twice. You'll see the nuances of this campaign, what you want to watch out for. If you've never ran direct mail, but it is time, it will give you a chance to put your list together, to do a direct mail campaign to people that know you, know, like, and trust you, and then you're set up for the next type of direct mail campaign should you want to run that. For intermediates, I consider myself intermediate. This amount of money and then that monthly will allow you to buy speed because that $3,000 or $3,400 works out to about $41,000 a year. So you can buy an assistant that will help you move faster. These are small things and then they add up. Or you can just move up into these programs and buy more speed. And then for the advanced who's been sitting on money and you didn't even know it, like Derek, it can be life-changing. Use a calendar. Use visible deadlines, surprises. I'm trying to remind you of the things that, oh God, I need that. Testimonial sheets, if you don't have one, you're going to need it for everything. So just started getting those pictures together. Use Coach Barry's social proof module. It's what I used 3 years ago. And then you just, you see how powerful, it's probably the most powerful thing there is a social proof. And then the first letter gets printed twice. Don't do $8 an hour work. Have an assistant, a friend, or a 13-year-old, do envelopes, do all 3 at one time. If they respond, pull their envelopes so that you're not sending, the second notice. Brief your trainers. Let them know what's coming down the pipe, okay? And then, what your plans are moving forward after this rate increase. But tell them so they're not staying there surprised on the day that the first letters hit, and they'll appreciate it. And don't go out of town because they may know you, like and trust you, but if they're going to spend $5 or $10,000 with you, they're going to want to talk to you, okay, just to make sure that you're not about to, So it's, it's just common sense. But, okay, client resistance, prepare ahead. I had a little bit of resistance from people that had not been with us very long, and I added in a small, if it's your first, if you're new, you can't read that. But it allows them to let them know that they can continue with their 12-month program, but this will be in effect after. And then if they really don't know you, you'll just have to use your best judgment. I'll tell you, the 1 or 2 people that I did cut a deal with, they're no longer with me. So I think that's evidence. But everyone that did go up and everybody that paid in full is still with me. So there's you have to make your own decision. To finalize, buy ink, get the paper, all the envelopes, all the stamps into one place, do your math so you're not running around, and then go to work. And that's a massive cash flow surge system. Thank you very much.